nice to be here with you today. I have the opportunity this morning to talk to you a little bit about crucial conversations. Now, this is one of those topics that everyone kind of hears and says, wow, crucial conversations, what's that? Well, let me give you a little description of what we'll talk about today. In one of the sessions that I was conducting, as I was getting ready for the session, preparing the room and so forth, one of the participants arrived a little early. His name was Brian. As he put his materials down, he looked up, he saw me across the room, made eye contact, and he pointed at me and he said, "Are you going to be able to help me?" And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know, right? What are you dealing with? And as we started to talk a little bit, found out that he had an employee who was incompetent, socially and technically. He went on to describe in detail some of the problems that he was experiencing. He said, this person has so many problems with his teammates that people are leaving our team, moving to other places in the organization. He said, that's complicated by the fact that we need to interact with other teams within the organization. And other teams work around us, if they can, so that they don't have to interact with this individual. He said, then there's the technical side. He said, he is so bad at his job, we have to double and triple check his work to make sure we catch all the errors. And even then, we don't catch everything. It's hard to assign him to any project that's going to go to an end user because we can't catch all the problems that he'll create. So Brian had been documenting this person's performance over the last little while. And he went to his boss, a vice president in the organization, and laid out his case, wanted to let this person go. The vice president carefully considered, listened to the arguments, listened to the experiences that Brian had had. Then finally he said, you know, I think we should give this person a clean slate and let him start over. Now put yourself in Brian's position for a moment. He knows that this is absolutely the wrong decision to make, that this person is creating all kinds of problems for him back at his home office. So he musters up all the courage he can. He looks his boss straight in the eyes and he says, okay, that'd be fine. And he walks away. How does Brian feel at this moment? Dejected, frustrated, upset, trying to think about how he's going to deal with this individual and with this decision that's been made. If you've ever been in this kind of situation, you'll appreciate the ability to talk through high-stakes disagreements. These are crucial conversations. They're things that we run into at home, at work, in the community. We run into them week after week, and our ability to handle these and do so well differentiates us in important ways. Now, I know a lot of you are sitting there thinking, well, the big problem here with Brian is that it was Brian and not me. Right? Removed from the situation, we often think that we'll handle it better than when placed in the situation. When we're placed in these situations, when we're actually facing these high-stakes disagreements, something interesting happens. Adrenaline starts to spill into our blood. Now, what's the purpose of adrenaline? Right? Fight or flight, which is really good if we're facing a predator or a physical threat. Not very good if we're facing an emotional, a psychological threat. So adrenaline spills into our blood, and it prepares us for flight or flight. What does that mean? That means that blood is reallocated to the large muscle groups. Is the brain a large muscle group? It turns out no. Right? And the resources have to come from somewhere. It ends up that the higher reasoning functions of our brains tend to shut down. So we are less able to handle these high-stakes disagreements in the moment. So a lot of those times when you're walking away from a crucial conversation and saying, oh man, I was such an idiot. Clinically, you were. Right? You were less able to deal with these high-stakes situations. Here's the sad truth. What you find is that for 23 hours during the day, you're reasonable, you're rational, you're decent, you're able to handle multiple problems as they come up, solve issues, right? Address concerns. 23 hours of the day, this is you. But if this is you normally, if this is your brain normally, this would be your brain on a crucial conversation. When it matters most, we're likely to do our worst. The other sad aspect of this is that no one is immune. Now, I've brought with me a little example of a crucial conversation. Let me read it here to you. Typical day. Shut up. No, you little wimp. You get out of that room or I'm going to tell. Fruitcake. Now, you might be guessing where I got this from. It sounds like something that might happen at home. Right? I've got 3 boys at my home. So this sounds like something that might have come from my house. Well, it is a house example, but it's not my house. This was from the U.S. House of Representatives, as reported in USA Today 2003 from one of the most powerful committees in the House Ways and Means Committee. Right? And these are people we elect because they're supposed to be good at this. Right? When it matters most, when things are on the line, when it's high stakes, we tend to do our worst. Now, it's not all bad news. We've actually, over the last number of years, been watching people in these types of high-stakes situations, dealing with crucial conversations. Think, how do they manage this? What do they do differently when they get through them and do so brilliantly? Those who are especially skilled interpersonally. We found that they adhere to a number of different principles and skills. Best practice principles and skills. Now, we don't have time here today to go into all of these, but I want to share with you one of the keys to be effective in these crucial conversations. So we're going to look at a little aspect we call master my stories and describe in a little more detail here what we refer to as the path to action. Path to action. So here's the big problem that we're going to be wrestling with. That so many times we talk ourselves out of holding a crucial conversation that deep down we really know we probably should hold. For a lot of different reasons. It's with our boss. It's with a very powerful colleague. It's a touchy or sensitive subject. People aren't going to change anyway. This isn't going to do any good. All the reasons that go through our head. The solution here that we want to present to you is to learn how to create emotions that help you actually want to get back to dialogue. And so often, in the heat of the moment, you can almost feel those strong emotions start to kick in. And when it matters most, we're least likely to do our best. How do we manage those emotions in a way that helps us want to get back to healthy dialogue?